All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back from Thanksgiving break. Hopefully, you guys had a good week off. Those of you guys who are missing any work or assignments or tests, hopefully, you're able to get them caught up since you didn't have any more work being piled on you. So, no excuses if you weren't able to get your stuff done. I am going to go ahead and share my screen with you. This week is going to be could be a pretty tough week for some of us in here. It could be a week that we share information that might be personally affecting some of y'all. I know me personally. I mean, I have people in my family who we will be talking about their stories this week. So I'm going to go ahead and just share my screen. I'm not going over every lesson this week. I'm just going to go over what it's about and how to work through the different links I have set up on the slideshow. But first off, I want you guys to all understand that these next few weeks, we're going to be talking about the truth about drugs, from obviously tobacco to marijuana, medicinal versus street, to cocaine, crack, crystal meth, prescription meds, Oxycontin, all that kind of stuff. The whole point of this lesson is to tell you the truth about it, not just, hey, say no because of this, or just say no, or just, there's a lot of myths out there. But I'm going to let you guys know how it is, how it's used, the history of some of these drugs. Because believe it or not, some of these drugs were used for medicinal purposes, but things have changed. So we'll learn about the background of them. We'll learn about short and long-term effects. Eventually, we'll learn and hear a few testimonies. I need you guys to be respectful and mature this week. Like I said, I'm not teaching you this information to go out and say, oh, look what we learned in Coach Gobo's class and make fun of it. It's just to know the truth about it. When I was y'all's age, they just had a program that said, just say no. And obviously, I knew not to say no to, I knew to say no to drugs, especially you'll learn. My dad chose the life of drugs, but I knew I shouldn't be trying them anyways. But unfortunately, they didn't really give much information about them. It was like hush hush. They didn't want you to know about them because what you didn't know, you maybe wouldn't try it. But unfortunately, it led to curiosity. So this whole lesson is about the truth about it. You want to know stuff about it? This is it. And hopefully, we all could start making smarter decisions. Like I said, I apologize if any of you guys have current family or friends in these situations. I'm right there with you. So please be respectful and mature. But let me just go ahead and just show you how this is going to work this week and next week. This is our last section before your semester test. So we're going to go a couple weeks, and then there'll be a big truth about drugs test before we hit our semester test. So really stay focused this week. And each day will be a specific drug we talk about, how it's used, the background of it, the history of it, short, long-term effects, all that kind of stuff. One day about each specific drug. And there's a lot of information and videos we're going to watch. So we really got to make sure we use our time wisely. All right. So when you guys click on this week's slideshow, when it says click here first, that is this video I'm showing you right now. You should be clicking here and listening to this actual video. All right. So then as you can see, Monday's lesson, we're going to talk about tobacco. Okay, and the slideshow says just look at slides 1 through 16. Don't do any of the other slides. Once you look at that slideshow, when you click on your assignment, it's going to be the same assignment we have been doing. Attach a Google Doc, answer my do know question, have some notes. I think I said I have at least 8 notes attached because that shows me you went through the slides. And make sure some of you guys, if you don't just copy and paste, make sure you're actually typing it out yourself, because that's another way you can retain the information. Some of you guys aren't doing so hot in your test, and it's because we're not getting the information in our brain. So if you guys look at the slideshow and able to just type it out in your own words, it's so much easier for your brain to pick up on it. And then there'll be an exit question. So that's the tobacco slideshow, right? And then when you click here, the e-cigarette site, I've included this the last year or two because it's become pretty popular the last year or two. So I'm actually going to open this up right now and explain it. And you could add these as part of your notes as well. If you don't know what e-cigarettes are, they're vapes, right? So this website gives you all the facts, risk about e-cigarettes. And obviously it's from the Surgeon General, government, right? So it's not like it's just an internet website that you could just find any information on, because you guys know you could type in anything and you could get anyone's opinion on that you typed in. So we got to make sure we stay with actual certified, credible websites. And this is one of them. I'm just going to run through it, but I want you guys to take your time to look at this. So if you look through it, it's going to be some basics on e-cigs, which, you know, there's vape pens. I mean, they make them looking like anything nowadays. And unfortunately, some of you kids in here might have or known someone who have experience with these. And this is something that has been pretty popular the last few years, and they're just now starting to get a lot of research on it. When they first came out, people were like, oh, it's not that big of a deal, because they didn't have any research or symptoms or cases yet. It usually takes years for them to realize, okay, this group of people are having these type of issues. Well, let's single it down to, well, and then they're starting to realize e-cigs and vapes are causing a lot of respiratory issues. So if you look down here, it tells you what chemicals are being used in them. It's telling you, man, especially with youth, that don't mix. Your guys' brains are still growing. They say around age of 25, it sort of like stops growing. I mean, obviously my brain's still growing, but around 25, and nicotine exposure, man, it could cause crazy harm, not just to me, but especially to the youth. Because your brain is still developing, which we'll talk about in the alcohol unit. It talks about the different trends. Unfortunately, look at this survey of high school students. And like I said, there's kids at our school who are using and obviously getting in trouble or not getting in trouble for them. They're either known or not known. We got to start making better choices and smarter choices, because this isn't like it's better than tobacco cigarettes, right? This tells you some health risk of it. It says no matter how it's delivered, obviously it's unsafe. We're going to look at all these risks here in a second. So when you click on here, actually when you click here, you get the facts. It gives you more facts on what an e-cigarette is. It shows you how it works, blah, blah, blah. It shows you the different types you can have. They're all about the vape pens, how many girls have done so much research on it, business trends on it, usage trends. You could look at teen beliefs. You got a lot of teens who believe, oh, it's not harmful, this, that, this, that. You can see the marketing, how they market it. And you guys understand, they market it towards you, right? All these advertisements are marketed towards your age group. It tells you the appeal, like why does it appeal to young people? It's all about the flavoring, right? Or it's less harmful than smoking, or just curious, right? We're learning a lot more about the public health impact, talking about the addiction rate, talking about how quickly someone could go from e-cigs to obviously just regular tobacco. So it talks about all that stuff. It tells you usually the main flavors that people are using. And that's one of the marketing geniuses. They add flavors to make someone want to use it and act like it's not that big of a deal. The little quiz here, right? So you'll go ahead and take this 5-question quiz, see what you guys know about it. And then when you come up here to know the risk, it tells you all the risks. And like I said, this is just what they've compiled over the last few years, because this has been something that's sort of been newer. So they're just now getting a whole bunch of research and actual cases with people who are in the situation. So it tells you your brain risk of it, right? Action risk, your behavior risk, right? If you use 2 or more types of tobacco, so not only if you just use e-cigs, but maybe if you use tobacco or dip as well. And we'll talk about all that in our tobacco lesson. And it tells you all the risk of them, right? How it affects your brain development, right? So it gives you information on this website on actual e-cigarettes, the vapes, right? So that's that video. All right. Now, after you guys watch today's or Monday's tobacco slideshow, you look at the e-cigarette site, you've done your assignment. Now down here, it says the Truth About Drugs sign-in. The rest of the week, we are going to be using this website. It is called the Truth About Drugs. All I want you to do is sign in. It's a free account, and stop after the quiz section. So let me open this up so you guys can see it. Let's see if I can get to it. There we go. Okay. So I should already be logged in. So it says create a free account. Remember your username and password, because we'll be working on this. So when you click on this, I'm already signed in. So you guys will have to go through the sign in process, create your username, password. It's all free, but remember it. All right. And then what I want you guys to do when you first get on here, you're going to go ahead and play and watch this introduction. You can't move forward until you've done everything in this. So I want you to watch the video. I'm not going to watch it with you guys. So I'm just going to hit continue. I've already done it. Okay. And then we're going to start our vocab. Okay, so one of the vocab words is culture. Okay, we're going to be talking about this. Culture, which one is it? Culture actually is the beliefs and activities that are common to members of a group. So that's the word culture. In our Truth About Drugs test, there might be some vocab words on there. I'll be teaching you guys a lot of vocab words and what it means when it comes to the drug world. So the expression drug culture, what does that mean? That's the degree to which drugs have invaded so many aspects of our society and how it influences people. You got to think of music, music videos, TV shows, movies. I mean, there's so much of just drug use and how they glamorize it and how they influence young people. Okay, so that's correct. All right. The word CDC, if you know what CDC means, it's the Center for Disease Control. It's the agency of the US government. They conduct research and how things start, how the diseases occur. They're one of the huge ones when it comes to COVID. I mean, anything that is a new disease or symptoms, vaping, it goes through the CDC. Okay, so that's correct. The word rush. So we'll be talking a lot in these different drugs, and people say, I want that rush feeling. Well, the rush is the first surge in sensation felt when smoking or injecting a drug. And it varies, depends on the drug itself. So a lot of people say, I want to feel that first rush. I'm going to tell you this, you will never get back to feeling that first rush. And unfortunately, some people's first rush might be their last rush. Okay. The next vocab word is cocktail. What does cocktail mean? A cocktail is a combination of many drugs taken at the same time. We'll be learning about like when people go to parties or raves, and a lot of people bring like prescription pills from medicine cabinets and they just throw them in a dish and people just grab a handful and take them. Unfortunately, you don't know which pills is which. One might be a stimulant, one might be a sedative, one might be not good for heart. If you have a heart issue, I mean, there's so many craziness that can happen. That's called cocktail, when you just randomly take a bunch of things, mixture. Okay, the word poison, hopefully we all understand. Poison is anything that causes illness or death or injury to the body, or it's produced within the body. Like, for example, cancer. Cancer is a poison. It's produced within our body. Obviously, alcohol is a poison. I could have alcohol poisoning. Any drugs are a poison. It's something that goes in our body that could cause illness. Ibuprofen. If I don't follow directions on it and I take too many, I poisoned my body. So even though it's a good medicine, it's still a drug. A drug is anything that alters our body, whether it's for good or if we don't follow directions for bad. All right. Stimulant means a drug that increases immediate energy and alertness. Something stimulates you. We'll be talking about those type of drugs. And then the last type of drug we'll be talking about is a sedative. That's something that makes one calm down or sleep, a sedative. All right. So after you guys are done with your little test, we're not going to go over this so much. I'm just going to run through it. So obviously our drug culture, you can read through it yourself too, but it has been crazy influenced by the media. There's so many, think of video games, think of movies, think of your favorite TV show. Unfortunately, I say cartoons nowadays. I mean, it just seems normal for it to be glamorized. So that's what this is talking about here. Okay. Why do people take drugs? So if you're sitting there thinking, why do people take drugs? These are the main reasons that people have said about taking drugs. They want to fit in. They want to escape or relax. Let me tell you right now, you might escape and relax your problems for that minute, but as soon as you come down off your high, you have more problems to face. So that's never gonna fix our problems. A lot of people say they're bored, and that's the most ridiculous answer in my opinion. If you're bored, come to my house. I got some yard work to do. If you're bored, go do something productive. A lot of people want to seem grown up. They want to rebel. They want to experiment. Could be curiosity. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why people might abuse drugs. Maybe they saw grandma and grandpa. Maybe they think it's cool. They saw one of their favorite actors, right? So we just need to know drugs are not a solution. If anything, they create bigger problems for you. How do drugs work? Like it says here, they are obviously a type of poison. It just depends on what it is and how much you take and that kind of stuff to determine the effect. We'll talk about all this in our lessons, how it destroys your mind, your creativity. We'll talk all about that in our specific drug lessons. These are all the drugs we'll be talking about in the next couple weeks. Each day will be a specific drug. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop that right there because you don't need to read any more about that when you go back to our slideshow. So that's what I want you guys to do Monday. That's it, right? When you get to Tuesdays, this is where it's gonna start our actual daily drug unit. So every day you're going to see my slideshow on here, Truth About Drugs. You'll click on that. And then on your assignment, when you come down here and it says your assignment, okay, you click for assignment. I tell you specifically what I want you to write on your Google Doc. So not only are you going to attach a Google Doc, I want you to attach the Google Doc with the following. You're going to answer the do now question. You're going to write some short-term and long-term effects. You're going to write a little bit about the history of the drug. And then always see my exit question. I will then always tell you what slides you're going to be looking at. So when you get here to the slides, it says we're going to start at slide 24. So skip all these, go to 24. And this is what we'll start. So there's your do now question. What do you know about the drug? So that'll be your first thing on your assignment. Then the next slide will tell you the PSA. You say, well, where the heck is the PSA at? So when you go to here, this link, when you click on here, you're going to see this for no things. You're going to see this for every drug we talk about. See right here where it says see the ad. That's what I want you to watch. So you'll watch that PSA. Okay, PSA is a public service announcement. And then it's going to tell you, watch the documentary chapter. So then you'll go here and you see the documentary chapter. So you'll watch the documentary chapter. And each chapter is probably about, I don't know, I'd say 15 minutes. So once it loads, you'll watch the documentary chapter. Okay, then it will then tell you, let me go back here. It will then tell you, okay, let's go to my slideshow. Oh, let me slow this down. Okay, so then it will then tell you, okay, do you know the difference between medicinal and street? And we'll talk all about that. Then I'm always going to have vocab words. If you want to write some vocab words down, you can. Know some of these vocab words might be in the readings and it might help you understand it better, or it might be on a test. So if you don't know it, maybe write it down. But if you know it, you're good. And then I'll always have, we'll do our readings, and that's where you'll get your notes from. And then there'll be the exit questions. So you say, where's the readings at? So when you're on this page, it says flip through the booklet. So you always start here. What is marijuana? Okay, I'll always tell you what the drug is, how it's used. And then when you hit next, they'll always give you more information. So obviously with marijuana, there's different ways people can use marijuana, which I'll specifically talk about. And then there's more ways you can use it. Each drug is going to have just a different number of pages based on what the drug is. So this tells you how the marijuana has changed over time. And this is where I want you to get your notes from. Medicinal marijuana we'll talk about. And this page should be the effects. So they'll talk about short and long-term effects right here. And that's what I want you to write in your notes. Don't write every single one, just write a few of them, right? So there's your short and long-term effects. And then every section is going to have a little bit about the history of the drug. Okay, so it'll have a little bit about the history, what's going on. And that should be the last one. Yes, and then every page will always end, every lesson will always end with this, the truth about drugs, why people take them, right? So when you look at your guys' things, what I want you to do, the last thing after you take your notes is the exit question. So the exit question is, what did you learn today? So you'll write that in your notes. Once you're done with your notes, go ahead and turn those in, and then you'll see it's the next lesson. So when you are in your lesson for Wednesday, same thing, okay? So let's go to Wednesday, where we talk about alcohol. So when you click on here, right, it tells you on your assignment, let me just show you real quick one more time. I'll tell you what slide to look at. I mean, unless you want to just go through all the slides, it's going to tell you slides 30 to 34. So you can go here, slide 30, and talk about alcohol, 30 to 34. You're going to answer your do now question. You're just going to tell you what PSA you're going to watch, which chapter you're going to watch. Make sure you watch the chapters. I can't see if you watch them or not, but make sure you watch them, because some of you might learn better by listening. And I might pick up some test questions from the actual testimonies of people. And then they'll give you more vocab words. And then it's going to tell you your readings. Your reading is all of, let me go to it. When you click here is the documentary. This is where you're going to get all your reading information from. So it says flip through the booklet. You could click that, or it's just down here. It tells you what alcohol is. It will then tell you a little stats about drinking and driving. You can even come here. You want to learn about the history of alcohol, right? This is where I want you to get your notes from. Please don't just copy and paste, right? It's just get like the bare minimum of things that is important and just a little summary of it all. When you are done with that, right, you'll see you're going to answer your exit question, which would be, what did you learn today? And then boom, you're done, right? So you're going to do that every single day. It's literally going to be the same thing over and over and over. It's just where we talk about specific drugs. So Thursday, we'll talk about ecstasy. And then Friday, we'll talk about cocaine. Now, I'm not going to specifically go over I'm not going to make a YouTube for every drug, because it's pretty easy just to go through that online presentation. And it's pretty easy to watch the documentary chapters. If you guys have any questions, email me, holler at me. I will give you guys ideas of what like the test will look like. But if you know the history about it, if you know short and long-term effects, if you actually know like what the drug is it man-made? Does it come from a plant? That kind of stuff. Like I said, this information isn't to go out there and like laugh and joke about it. This information is to know what it is. right? And to be more informed about it. And as you can see, we only have a few more weeks and the semester's over. So make sure, okay, really make sure that you guys are on top of all your work. If you're missing any things, get it done now. So that was just a quick, let me go ahead and stop sharing. That was just a quick like overview of what we're doing this week. You're not going to see specific YouTubes for every lesson. We're not going to have extra credit these last few weeks. So I just want to show you how you're going to navigate between those few screens. So if you have any more questions, holler at me. And like I said, please be respectful and mature. You don't know what people are going through or have been through or know people who've been through these situations. So hopefully I could give you a little bit more information on why we need to say no and why your life is so important and why your future is so important to make these smart choices. So hope you guys had a good break. I'm glad to see you back. Bye.